Good afternoon. Let's just get straight to it. We all heard presidential candidate Nikki Haley say, hey, we're looking at raising that age of retirement. And it has really burned a lot of people. But let's discuss the why that individuals talk like this. Because as governor, it is my job to make sure that I safeguard you with all the information and then put in place how we're going to put reformation in so things like this don't have such an effect or even had to have been put in place in the first place. 1971, America came off the gold standard. We adopted the fiat currency system. Under the fiat currency system, you can print as much money as you want to, but it's a terrible idea because the more you print, the more you put into circulation, the more individuals are able to buy. I have to make you understand that. The more money in circulation that you have in your pocket, the more you can purchase. And because we cannot regulate individual greed, if we allow you to purchase too much, demand will go up because supply will come down. There are no laws against price gouging. Zero. So what happens to slow the rate of individuals overbuying is corporations get behind that concept and raise prices. This slows down so that maybe they can build product and have a surplus. A surplus in all products brings the prices down because to the companies, it would be wasteful. That's what they are ebbing and flowing in the balance of how this works. Now, the issue is capitalism is unregulated. You do need to have a good amount of finances that are circulating in the American economy. You have to have that happen, but it cannot be too much and it cannot be too little. And we had a ton of stimulus checks come out. And that put a lot of money out there. Now, if you're circulating and you have unregulated capitalism that comes and starts siphoning off of what's circulated, you take all of that money now that would have continued to work itself through the economy and it gets stuck in specific places. This is why we have the super rich, because we have unregulated capitalism. This is why throughout history, you've had different administrations that have simply said, hey, those individuals with unregulated capitalism need to pay more in taxes because they're unregulated and they're messing up the currency system because it's not supposed to be unbalanced. But we have a huge problem when it comes to lobbying in this country. And there are laws that make it very complicated to make people pay taxes. We just passed federally USC 531, which made federal banks exempt from paying taxes, except for like estates or something to that nature. Too much lobbying has happened and not enough regulations as it pertains to capitalism. There is a place for socialism and capitalism, but there is not a place for neither if neither one is regulated properly. But through lobbying from these ultra-rich corporations that, siphon back to some individuals, we don't have those regulations in place. So now Floridians, just like everybody else that's in all the other states that are not part of the super rich, that are not part of the middle class, because there's a number out there that says if you are kept up with inflation, if your job kept up with inflation, you, to consider yourself a part of the middle class, are making $175,000 and above. So where we are today is a lot of us are not in even the middle class. So we're taking a lot of those hits. So it is imperative that when we vote for individuals that do not have lobby backing, because there is a quid pro quo. For individuals who do not know what quid pro quo is, it's I do for you, you do for me. They're not getting this money for free. They're not getting this money for free. We are right now seeing our Justice Department have an internal conflict when it comes to ethics, when it comes to, hey, you should not be taking money and then your rulings be in favor of the individuals who are paying you. And you have a couple of groups out here that are finding and having to search for all of these corporations to find out that, hey, here's a shell company that was going up against a case and that you happen to make a ruling for. We all thought you were doing your job, but come to find out they had been paying you X amount of dollars. You knew not to take that money because it was an ethical problem. Now we see this play out, but we do not see the results of what's happening. This is because the people have lost a lot of legislative power. Our votes do enough to get an individual elected, but not enough to help navigate our lives. So when I ask you to put me in office, it is so I can say, hey, I want to put power back into the people to where there are things that if it's going to affect the majority, they need to be able to weigh in on, and we need to have legislation that backs their votes. This is very important, and it means that all of us would have to take in data and be able to make your best educated guess on how things are based on what is provided. A big part of the problem right now is that we don't see everything. And because we don't see everything, we have to believe in those individuals whom we've elected until they show us that they've made a mistake. And I'm going to tell you right now, in Florida, paying for former President Trump's legal fees through taxpayer dollars, I feel is a mistake. I feel it's a mistake. He's a millionaire. Take everything else away. Take your party affiliations, take all that. Why are taxpayers paying for any person's legal fees except the states? That's the only legal fees that we should be paying for. We don't want our state to be sued. We want to back the people in our state. We want to back our state because our state is letting us know what's going on, why we're making these decisions. But what we don't want to do is we do not just want to be out here throwing our money away. Now, how are they going to collect this $5 million? Or maybe they already have it, but to some extent, we know that as taxpayers, whether it's a surplus of money out there or something, they use taxpayer funding for this. I, for one, don't think it's okay. And I think things like that, you should vote on. If you're going to bring this up, taxpayers should be able to weigh in. Hey, what do you guys think? My vote would be absolutely not. He's a millionaire. Let him figure it out. Quite frankly, and let me be clear, we have a structure for individuals to go through the system if they cannot afford. But that's in the state. That's not for us to be using because you have to fight a battle in other areas. This is why it's important. So understand that we are under the fiat currency system, and it is backed by debt. And taxpayers are necessary to kind of help with that debt. And our debt is high. And all of these individuals are on charge to figure out how to pay it down. And as we all know, over these years, a lot of them have not done a good job. So educate yourselves. Do not keep voting for individuals who are being lobbied by the exact people that are unregulated. They're not regulated. And without regulation, there is the potential for chaos. So go look at these individuals and see if they have any areas where they have caused deregulated chaos. You guys have a great day.